Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dumb and Dumbest podcast with my beautiful, wonderful, perfect, radiant, receding hairline co-host, Curtis Dewar.
That's me.
And me, Matt Bacon. This is a music industry podcast where everything is terrible, the house is on fire, and we really, really, really should record the intro so I don't keep saying it faster and faster and adding more terms to glorify Curtis because he's incredibly insecure.
No, I'm not actually. I'm beyond not being insecure, to be honest. But anyway.
Point being, today we are going to talk about
memes.
We should have gotten a kid to say that.
Well, my kids are both in school right now, so that's why we got to keep it short, right?
Of course. Okay. Anyway, we're talking memes on the podcast today. What's your opinion on memes, Mr. Dewar?
I like them, and I do agree with you that all bands should use them. And at some point, well, they should do them for, it's a content thing, right? So the more memes you can come up with to keep your Instagram and your Twitter or whatever that it is going, then the better. I mean, if you can do good ones, that's preferable, but start with something and just go from there. I mean, I suck at memes, but you can always rip something off from somebody else or borrow it. I mean, not rip off. And, it's a content generator. It's great.
Memes are the currency that we use. Think about the images. I want you to, listening right now, to go back on your Facebook feed or your Instagram or whatever you use the most and look at the 5 most recent images you have shared.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those are memes? There you fucking go.
Everybody's going to say a bunch except for me and you.
Yeah. Point being, memes are like digital fucking currency.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to get out and about and get your name spread around, like, this is how you do it, right? Like, memes are incredibly effective, incredibly useful.
Yeah.
And just, I don't really see the function of trying to create I get for like a serious black metal band, like, this doesn't work for prophecy artists, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you're like a fun band who like party and like take pictures drinking beers and stuff.
You're poison, in other words, yeah.
No, like Switchblade Jesus, or who are the masters at this in our community?
Who's that?
Forming the Void.
Yeah, they're pretty good at that. I got to admit that.
They get hundreds of likes because of memes. Marshall and I had built out a strategy together when we worked together.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the thing, is like, and at the end of the day, it boosts your numbers, and it boosts your numbers with like actual fans. I remember seeing one of the moments memes really made sense for me was when my friends in this band Ground created a meme. And this was a few years ago. And I saw one of my buddies in the UK share it, who had no clue, like, who liked grindcore, but I guarantee you he did not know who Ground were.
I've never even heard of them before. Yeah.
It's half of Waking the Cadaver. But regardless,
woo!
But like, you get what I'm trying to say. Like, memes are how we interact with each other online. And they show that you're like a real person. I think so many bands are obsessed with being taken seriously.
Yeah.
Which is, problematic and dumb. Like, you're in a band.
Yeah. You're entertainment. Like, you don't need to be taken seriously.
Yeah. Especially if you're not like a serious avant art project. If you're a serious avant art project or whatever the fuck, then yeah, it probably makes sense to not share memes. But if you're like just some dudes who like don't take themselves super seriously, why not? On top of that, I think if you create your own memes, Forming the Void created one of their own memes, and they end up getting picked up by Gear Gods, and it got them like 150 likes.
Is that what you got to do to get Gear Gods nowadays?
It worked for Forming the Void. Like, okay. At the end of the day,
pay attention, peeps.
Like, they could have, they got like 150,000 impressions or something on it.
Wow.
That's what Marshall told me. Like, it was insane, right? Wow. The amount of people who just see the Forming the Void name, and that's one of the 7 times that people have to see that name before they actually act upon it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Forming the Void are not getting record deals out of this, but it means maybe a few more people become aware, and then a few more people, and
you'll notice Matt said the word "forming the void" 7 times in this thing.
I did.
Yeah.
For a reason.
He's got that high level NLP technique going.
Oh yeah, dude. No, that's some to use the vernacular, big dick energy.
This is like not Frank Kern, Ty Lopez Jr. over here.
Gary Vaynerchuk. Point being, have you ever had a band, Curtis, have their use of memes make it easier for you to get reviews of them?
1000%. Coil Guns leaps to mind right away. Jonah is amazing at doing that.
Also, Coil Guns is a pretty serious band.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing.
Like Coil Guns is pretty like intellectual grind, for lack of a better term.
But then they do these amazing goofy memes that are just hilarious, and then Jonah will post like the most bizarre stuff. But yeah, you're right. It is because he actually, I was kind of surprised when I saw that he was doing all these memes. I was like, I thought they were more serious than this, but it's like, no, he's like, he would take quotes from bad reviews and put them into meme form, right? It was hilarious.
Yeah, no, there you go. And again, Coil Guns is a band, like, go look that band up. Like, yeah. They're not like your buddy's joke grind band that they do to play shows and like, yeah. Smoke weed behind the, in the fucking punk house.
Yeah.
Like,
serious full-time band, like full-time musicians in there, but
yeah. Dude, Homeboy, wasn't he in the Ocean?
Yeah, I believe so. If I'm not, I think 2 or 3 of them were in the Ocean. If I'm not
exactly. Mistaken. I mean, a million people have been in the Ocean, but still. But we're talking about the band, not the Big Blue Wet thing.
Yeah.
Just for people listening at home who might have been a little bit confused about our excitement over the Ocean.
I wasn't even familiar with the Ocean until I heard Coil Guns, to be honest. I'll fess up to that. But anyways.
Okay, well, that's just because you have bad taste. Anyway, the Ocean is sort of, like, they're one of those bands who are very, very, very serious. And so if fucking Coil Guns, who are also pretty serious, are doing memes, odds are you probably can get some value. And like, they don't have to be like generic shared memes, right? Like, you don't need to find like lowest common denominator shit. Although that does make sense, I think, for like if you're doing like a bro metal thing or something.
Yeah.
Lowest common denominator. Oh, you know who was fucking master of this? Who we always would do this with? Would be Tanker Cavalry.
Do we really want to talk about this again?
What?
We really want to go into this one again?
Yeah, this is fine. A part of our thing with Nature and I was be like, he would send me memes to correct between East versus Western senses of humor, correct for English. You know what I mean? Like we would talk about memes a lot.
Yeah.
Like that was like a huge part of the strategy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're stupid, but they work. I mean, yeah, they're dumb, but you know what? People like them. So you're trying to get attention and you want people to buy your music. Then you got to get attention and memes get attention.
Yeah. And like,
like here's a perfect example, like a living, walking person that understands the power of things like memes and getting attention is Kanye West. He'll say the dumbest shit and then he sells tons and tons of stuff. And he'll also just post these weird pictures and stuff. It works.
Yeah. This is exactly it. Fucking, yeah, no. Memes are just the currency, man. Like this is how you gain traction. And again, it doesn't have to be stupid memes. It doesn't have to be like.
Well, hold on. Let me just interrupt you. I just went to go check for a Coil Guns meme that they did. They just did one today.
Okay.
And it's got this picture of like these German yodelers or something with accordions and stuff. And it's a quote from Heavy Music Headquarters review saying, with Millennials has this German 4-piece putting a lo-fi charm to their seething hardcore / noise sound. And it's this goofy picture of these German guys with accordions and shit.
Yeah, perfect.
Look at that page if and just look at.
We'll put a link in the show notes.
Sure. Anyways, it's perfect use of memes. Just go study that page and Forming the Void. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think, and again, if you can break down a journalist's walls that way, fuck, man. You know,
Like,
that being said, are there any basic rules when you're creating memes, Curtis?
well,
Or like advice you'd give to a band who are like, oh, we want to make memes?
make it as goofy as possible, I would say. I mean, just honestly, make it as goofy as
Yeah.
possible. Try not to be like, don't be like extremely PC, but don't be on the other end of it, be so PC that you're going to get a bunch of journalists freaking out about that stupid thing instead of taking like looking at your music. Like the purpose is to attract attention and make people laugh and stuff like that, not to get people completely pissed off or
Yeah.
triggered, whatever the word is for it.
Balancing between
Like
between
Kanye West can do that because he's been around for a long time and he's like sold 10 billion records, but you ain't going to get away with that at this point in time.
balancing between quote unquote normie bait and
Yeah.
and sort of a more specific meme to your genre can be very tricky,
Yeah, like
and
if you,
so
like another good example of places to study for like meme material would be Toilet of Hell, the blog.
oh,
They
very much so.
they do a very fine line between humor, offensive humor, and not being so, and yet they're still pretty PC at the same time. So they would be a great example of a place to study.
Yeah.
So,
In the words of Spinal Tap, there's such a fine line between what's
yeah.
clever and what's stupid.
Yeah, or just being completely offensive where you turn people off. And then, like I said, like offensive too is kind of a fine line because what some people think is offensive, other people are going to find hilarious. Like, look at Bloodhound Gang with "Hooray for Boobies."
Yeah.
People love that. Lots of people, into this very day, will rave about how great that album is. Lots of other people will still rave this very day about how offensive that album was.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, this had to be a fast one. So, Curtis,
Yeah.
what do you have to plug?
Oh man, I got a lot of stuff that came out today. Let me just go to my computer super quick. I'm just going to take a look at everything that came out because I'm going to forget something. We had Death on Fires, Alias, Corpse Paint, and Dayglow do a stream at Inhale the Heavy. Malthus did one at Ghost Cult this morning. Skrikodlin, I don't know if I said that right.
Skrikodlian.
I don't know how you say it, but anyways, they're Swedish. They're awesome. They're a stoner band from Sweden. They were at Doomed and Stone today. And I think I might have forgotten yesterday to mention the stream of Tommy Concrete's video.
No, you did mention it. You did.
Did I? Okay, I couldn't remember. For some reason, after we got off the phone, I was like, oh, I think I forgot Tommy. But anyways, his video is awesome too. That's what I got to plug. How about you, Matt?
Perfect. I've got Prophecy Fest coming up, which you should come out to and hit me up about. We've got Dropout merch, which is getting a new back end that we thought it was going to switch over faster than it is, so it's actually down right now. So don't go there right now, but go. I think tomorrow evening it'll be fine.
Also, before, just to cut you off, just regarding Prophecy Fest, Matt and I are going to be looking for some places to do a giveaway for tickets. So if you own a blog or you're a writer at a blog and you're interested in participating in a Prophecy Fest giveaway, hit one of us up and we can tell you whether we can do it with you or not.
Yep. Also, Curtis and I are doing our very first webinar next week, so tune in for that.
We still got to figure out what the topic's going to be.
Yeah, and the copy and everything else.
Yeah.
So, that'll hypothetically happen. Thank you guys for listening. This is
Are we done yet?
Dumb and Dumbest.
Are we done yet?